The 58th chapter of the book of Tehillim opens with that same enigmatic phrase as yesterday. Lamnatseach al tashchet leDavid michtav. For the leader, al tashchet of David, a michtam. We talked about this yesterday. Exactly what does it mean? Al tashchet, is it related to when it says in the Torah, al tashchet nachlatcha? That is it related to don't destroy? Was it something that they wanted to make sure nobody destroyed this piece of paper? We don't know, but it's engraving. It's words of David. Ha'unam elem tzedek tidaberun meisharim tishpetu bnei adam. O mighty ones, do you really decree what is just? Do you judge mankind with equity? First part of the chapter is going to describe people who are in charge but are not running the country right. What some might call these days the deep state, as they have put it. People who are in positions of power but are not steering the country, not steering the society, not steering the kingdom in the right way. Now, David had trumped up charges against him from Shaul, the accusations that he had rebelled against Shaul when he was always a very faithful servant to Shaul as his musician, as his general, as his son-in-law, etc., etc. But David went through this where he was accused by people, and thus that is seemingly who he's dealing with these judges, these people who are following the words, the incorrect words of Shaul. In your minds, you devise wrongdoing in the land. With your hands, you deal out lawlessness. Right? I'm not the one who's doing it. You're the ones who are doing it. Zoru rishaim me rachem. Ta'umi beten dovrei chazav. The wicked are defiant from birth. The liars go astray from the womb. Now, this is a very interesting phrase, of course, from a theological perspective, right? It says that these people, it's from the womb already. It's almost like they didn't have a choice when they became evil. It was from the womb. It was from the get-go. Does that mean it's blaming the parents? Is that sort of what it's saying? It's nature and nurture, and from the parents that they were born to? Is it just, of course, probably more likely less of a statement, a theological statement about God creating certain people as wicked, and more of a exaggeration? They're so bad that it had to happen from the beginning, right? They're defiant from birth. They go astray from the womb. I don't know. It's hard to find a wicked baby, I would say. So it seems it's more the exaggeration, but interestingly to think about the other way, we of course had somebody else who Beten, who was told from Beten that he was called. We've had number. We've had, of course, Shimshon, who's called right from the Beten. He's a Nazir, and the other Yirmiyahu, who's told by God that he was already chosen from the womb to be a prophet to the nations. Here David is saying these other ways, these guys are so bad, it must have come from the get-go. Continue in Pasuk Hey, verse 5, Chamat lamo kidmut chamat nachash kamo peten cheresh yatem azno. Their venom is like that of a snake, a viper that stops its ears, right? You can't do anything about it. It's deaf. You can't scare it. You can't. So these are people who are evil, and they sneak up on you. And the idea of the Nachash go all the way back to Gan Eden. The Nachash, the wiliest, the scariest, the trickiest of all the animals. These people who are in power and corrupting and making things look terrible, and they're able to do it in ways that incriminates others and make them look innocent. Asher lo yishma lekol milach Hashim. Chover chavarim michukam. So, right, they plug up their ears so they don't hear the voice of charmers, of anybody who could influence them, and anybody who could help them in some way. And therefore, the worst of their tendencies are what they are about, or the expert mutterer of spells, right? These are snakes, and maybe a charmer would be able to direct them, but no, they're poisonous venom. They close up their ears so they cannot hear anything. And now we're going to turn from his description of these people in power who are corrupting society through their laws, through their interpretation of laws, through whatever it might be, and it's going to turn therefore to who David constantly turns to, Elohim. Haras shine mo bifimo malteot kifirim nitots Adonai. God smashed their teeth in their mouth, shatter their fangs of lions. God, like we talked about yesterday. David doesn't say he's going to do it himself. He's asking God to do it. Yimasu chemo mayim yitalchu lamo yidroch chitzav Kimo yitmo lalu. Let them melt, let them vanish like water. Let God aim his arrows at them so that they be cut down. Kimo, we're in Pasuk Tet, Kimo shablul temes yahaloch, nefel eshet bal chazu shamesh. Like a snail that melts away as it moves. As far as I know, this is, at least in Tehillim, if not everywhere, the only place where we talk about snails. Like a woman's stillbirth, may they never see the sun. Particularly harsh phrase. One thing to talk about, the arrows cutting them down and the vanish away like water, but to talk about it as being a woman's stillbirth, very, very, very harsh thing to say. But of course, that idea, the Nefel Isha, like a stillbirth, goes back to the fact, as we pointed out earlier, that from the get-go, that they are defiant from birth. So they're so bad from all time. It's better that they would have never been here in the earth. So they should never see the sun. We'll have a similar phrase to this idea in the book of Eov, where Eov talks about cursing the day that he was conceived, the evening that he should have never been born out of his mother. That's how terrible his life had come. And David is describing here people who have perhaps made his life as an individual very, very difficult, very challenging, perhaps implausible, but also what they're doing generally to society with the type of laws, the type of way that they are running the country, running the government, and who is benefiting from their governance of the country. Continuing Pasuk Yud, B'terem yavinu sirotechem atad, k'mo chai, k'mo charon, yis'arenu. Before the thorns grow into a bramble, may he whirl them away alive in fury. Right? We're going to get caught in this bramble. It's one thing if it's a thorn, maybe you'll get a little scratch, draw a little blood, but don't let it envelop. Don't let it become a bramble. Don't let it be something that's everywhere that we cannot possibly escape. So God, yes, they've started these evil people with their terrible laws, machinations, all the things that they're doing, which are hurting me and hurting society in general. But we need to put a stop to it before it is pervasive and everywhere. So God, throw them away. And now we turn from the idea of the wicked who have power to Yismach Tzadik Ki Chazan Akam, to Amav Yirchatz B'dam Harasha. The righteous man will rejoice when he sees revenge. He will bathe his feet in the blood of the wicked. Also a troubling image. We'll put it like that. But right, this is again the righteous person is not the one who is doing this. It is God's decision to get rid of the wicked, and the destruction of the wicked allows for righteousness, allows for kindness, allows for equity, allows for goodness in this world. So the righteous man will rejoice when he sees this happen. V'yomar Adam achpri letzadik ach yesh Elohim shoftim ba'aretz. And then men will say, there is reward for righteousness. There is indeed divine justice on the earth. One of the themes we saw much earlier in the book, and things that we've seen through allusions with Moshe arguing with God in other places, that when wickedness is destroyed, when righteousness is rewarded, then it is much easier to see that there is God who is controlling the world. When wickedness is pervasive and it is the evil that is on top, it's very hard to believe that God has any control over the earth. So David here says, the people who are in charge, they are evil. They are so bad. It's like they came out of the womb this way, and curses them that they should have not been born properly, and some very difficult and harsh images here. But ultimately, at its core, what David wants is ridding the world of this wickedness before it is pervasive, before it grows from being a few thorns to being everywhere, surrounding everyone, that anybody can escape it. And if that happens, the righteous will succeed, and the divine justice will be seen, and the world will be morally a much, much better place than what he has seen at this point in his life.